The orange-red sky cast an eerie glow over the last remnants of humanity as they prepared to leave their dying world. Commander Jai-Ho Park stood motionless on the bridge of the massive colony ship Stellar Hope, his weathered hands gripping the railings as he watched Earth's final sunset. The sight before him was both beautiful and heartbreaking. The atmosphere itself seemed to be bleeding, stained by the aftermath of the Nexer Empire's relentless assault. Around him, the bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, their faces reflecting both grief and determination. Screens displayed the loading progress of the cryostas's chambers deep within the ship's core. Each chamber held a precious human life, preserved in frozen sleep for the long journey ahead. They had managed to save millions, but billions more had been lost in the initial attack. Jai-Ho's mind drifted to the morning the Nexer ships first appeared in Earth's orbit. There had been no warning, no demands, no chance for diplomacy. Their weapons had torn through Earth's defenses like paper, their energy beams reducing cities to ash in seconds. The surviving governments had quickly realized their only hope lay in escape, not resistance. Lieutenant Hei-Yun Kim approached him, her tablet displaying the final evacuation numbers. Despite the tears gathering in her eyes, her voice remained steady as she reported, "Commander, final evacuations are complete. All cryostasis chambers are secured and functioning at optimal levels. Medical teams report no complications during the freezing process." Jai-Ho nodded, his expression grave. "What's the final count?" 3,752,421 survivors aboard the Stellar Hope. Hei-Yun replied. "The other colony ships report similar numbers. In total, we've saved just under 20 million people. 20 million out of 8 billion. The number hit Jai-Ho like a physical blow, but he kept his face carefully neutral. He had to stay strong for his crew, for the survivors who had placed their trust in him. His fingers brushed against the small container in his pocket, a sample of soil from his family's ancestral home in Busan. It was all he had left of the place where generations of his family had lived and died. Through the massive viewing window, he could see the other colony ships positioning themselves for the jump. The Eternal Dawn, the Phoenix Promise, the Star Seeker, and dozens more, humanity's last fleet, carrying the precious cargo of their species' future. Each ship was a marvel of engineering, built in secret over the past decade as part of a contingency plan that no one had truly believed they would need to use. The Nexer ships hung in high orbit like dark predators, their crystalline hulls reflecting the burning light of the dying day. They had stopped their attack once they realized the remaining humans were fleeing, perhaps considering their mission accomplished. Their arrogance would be their undoing, Jai-Ho silently vowed. They thought they were wiping out a primitive species, but humanity would survive, adapt, and return. "Engineering reports all systems ready," Hei-Yun announced. "Jump drives are charged and coordinates are locked in. We're ready on your command, sir." Jai-Ho took one last look at his home world. The continents were barely recognizable now, scared by impact craters and burning with unnatural fires. The oceans had taken on a sickly purple hue from the alien weapons' aftermath. Yet even in its dying state, Earth was beautiful, a blue jewel wrapped in clouds and tragedy. He straightened his back and turned to address his bridge crew. "Today we leave our home," he began, his voice carrying to every corner of the bridge. "But we carry Earth with us, in our hearts, in our memories, and in our determination to survive. The Nexer Empire believes they have destroyed humanity. They are wrong. We will endure. We will grow stronger. And one day, we will return." "Begin jump sequence," he ordered, his hand resting on the soil container in his pocket. The bridge erupted into activity as final preparations were made. Warning signals flashed as the massive jump drives began to power up, their energy making the deck plates vibrate beneath their feet. Hei-Yun's voice rang out clear and strong. "Jump sequence initiated. All systems nominal. Point of no return in 10, 9, 8. Jai-Ho closed his eyes as the countdown continued, picturing his home as it had been just weeks ago. beautiful, peaceful, alive. The image would sustain him through the dark years ahead. 3, 2, 1. A flash of light enveloped the ship as space itself seemed to fold around them. Earth vanished from view, replaced by the swirling colors of jump space. As the stellar hope led humanity's exodus to distant stars, Commander Jai-Ho Park made a silent promise to the world they left behind. We will return, and we will remember. The fleet of colony ships disappeared into the depths of space, carrying with them the seeds of humanity's future and the unshakable will to survive. Behind them, Earth continued its lonely orbit around the sun, its surface forever changed, but not forgotten by those who had called it home. Time flowed differently in the vast emptiness of space. 3,000 years had passed since humanity's great exodus from Earth, yet the memory of their lost home remained strong through generations of storytelling and carefully preserved records. The colony ships had found new homes across distant star systems, each becoming a unique cradle of human civilization. On the thriving world of New Seoul, Professor Du-Yun Lee stood in her laboratory, surrounded by the soft blue glow of holographic star charts. Her eyes focused on the ancient data crystal in her hands, a relic from the original Exodus fleet. The crystal's surface was scratched and worn, but its contents remained intact, preserved through millennia of careful handling. The laboratory itself was a testament to how far humanity had come. Advanced computers processed data at unimaginable speeds, while artificial gravity kept everything perfectly stable despite the planet's lighter pull. Through the large observation window, she could see the gleaming towers of New Seoul reaching toward the purple-tinted sky, their surfaces catching the light of the system's twin suns. Computer, display historical comparison analysis, Du-Yun commanded. The air around her filled with two rotating human figures, one from the Exodus era and one representing current human physiology. The differences were striking. Du-Yun's research had revealed something remarkable. The colonists had not just survived, they had evolved. The harsh conditions of their new homes, combined with the long journey through space, had awakened something within human DNA. Generation after generation, subtle changes had accumulated. She pulled up her latest research data, examining the numbers with growing excitement. Modern humans stood taller on average, their bones denser despite the lighter gravity of their new worlds. Their neural pathways showed increased complexity, leading to enhanced cognitive abilities. Most remarkably, their average lifespan had nearly doubled. Professor Lee called out her research assistant, Min-ho, from the doorway. "The council requests your presence. They've reviewed your preliminary findings." Du-Yun nodded, carefully placing the data crystal in its protective case. As she walked through the halls of the research center, she passed other scientists and students, noting how they embodied the changes she had documented. Their movements were more graceful, their eyes sharper, their presence somehow more substantial than their ancestors. The council chamber was located at the heart of New Seoul's government district. Its circular design paid homage to the meeting halls of old Earth, but the technology it contained was far beyond anything their ancestors could have imagined. 12 council members sat in a semicircle, their chairs floating slightly above the ground. Professor Lee spoke head counselor Su Jin Kang, her voice carrying easily across the chamber. "Your research has confirmed what many have suspected. We are no longer the same humans who fled Earth." Du-Yun stepped forward, activating her presentation display. "Yes, but it's more remarkable than we imagined. The changes aren't just physical. Our capacity for learning has increased exponentially. Children today can grasp complex quantum mechanics before they reach their 10th year. Our emotional intelligence has evolved as well, allowing for deeper empathy and understanding." She pulled up images from the data crystal. "Most importantly, I've managed to decode the complete coordinates of Earth, preserved in these ancient records. We know exactly where our homeworld is." The chamber fell silent. For 3,000 years, the exact location of Earth had been lost, preserved only in fragments across multiple data storage systems. The knowledge that they could now find their way back sent a ripple of emotion through the council. But there's more, Du Yan continued. These records contain detailed information about the Nexer Empire, their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. Our ancestors weren't just running for survival. They were gathering intelligence, preparing for a future they knew would come. She displayed a final set of data. Based on the technology level of the Nexer Empire at the time of the Exodus, and assuming the similar rate of advancement to other known civilizations, we now possess capabilities far beyond theirs. We've evolved in ways they could never have predicted. The council members exchanged meaningful looks. Head Counselor Su Jin leaned forward. Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting, Professor? Du Yan stood straight, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. Yes, we're ready. After 3,000 years, humanity has grown strong enough to reclaim what was taken from us. We can return to Earth. The chamber erupted in discussion, but Du Yan's mind was already racing ahead. In her mind's eye, she saw the colonies uniting, ships being built, armies being trained. The dream of return that had sustained humanity through 3 millennia was finally within reach. Yet even as plans for revenge began to form, she knew humanity had grown beyond simple retribution. They were no longer the same species that had fled Earth in terror. They had become something more, stronger, wiser, more capable of understanding the consequences of their actions. Whatever came next would need to reflect this evolution, not just in their bodies and minds, but in their spirits as well. Admiral Taiwan Choi walked slowly along the gleaming bridge of the remembered dawn, his footsteps echoing softly against the polished floor. The ship was humanity's crowning achievement, the first of the Transcendent-class warships, built with technology that would have seemed like magic to their ancestors. Through the massive viewing window, stars stretched endlessly into the darkness of space. The bridge crew worked at their stations, their minds directly connected to the ship's systems through neural interfaces. Streams of data flowed through their enhanced consciousness, allowing them to control the massive vessel with mere thoughts. Taiwan could feel the ship's presence in his own mind, a constant, reassuring hum of information and status updates. Amazing how far we've come, he said softly, running his hand along a control panel. The surface responded to his touch, lighting up with holographic displays. The ship's quantum core pulsed with energy, powering systems that defy the old laws of physics. Dark matter engines waited silently, ready to bend space itself to their will. Captain Sun Mi-Kang approached him, her uniform bearing the marks of both military rank and scientific achievement. Like all modern humans, she stood tall and moved with natural grace, her enhanced physiology evident in every movement. Admiral, the Federation Council has gathered. They're waiting for your address. Taiwan nodded, turning to face the center of the bridge. The air shimmered as holographic projectors activated, creating a perfect circular chamber around him. The faces of humanity's leaders appeared, representatives from every colony world, each bearing the subtle differences that 3,000 years of separate evolution had created. Distinguished council members, Taiwan began, his voice clear and strong. Today marks the beginning of humanity's next great journey. The remembered dawn is ready. Our fleet stands prepared. We have found our way back to Earth. The council members stirred, their expressions showing a mix of anticipation and solemnity. For 3 millennia, this moment had lived in humanity's collective dreams. Show them. Captain Sun Mi, Taiwan commanded. Sun Mi activated the main display. A detailed star map appeared in the center of the holographic chamber, showing the path they had traced through ancient space routes. At its end, a familiar solar system rotated slowly, Earth's solar system, their long-lost home. Our advanced sensors have already gathered data, Taiwan continued. The Nexer Empire still holds Earth, but they've grown comfortable in their victory. They never imagined we would return, let alone return as equals. He gestured, and new images appeared, detailed scans of Nexer defense systems and fleet positions. Their technology has advanced, Yes, but not at the pace of our own. The Remembered Dawn alone carries enough firepower to match their entire defense fleet. And we have built not one ship, but hundreds. The ship's quantum core hummed louder as he spoke, as if responding to the energy in his words. Around him, the bridge crew watched with pride, knowing they were part of this historic moment. We've installed the most advanced neural networks ever created, he explained, bringing up technical specifications. Every crew member is linked not just to the ship, but to each other. We think and act as one when needed, yet maintain our individual humanity. Our weapons harness the power of quantum mechanics themselves. Our shields can withstand forces that would have destroyed whole fleets in the past. One council member leaned forward, her image flickering slightly. And the dark matter engines, are they ready? Taiwan smiled. More than ready. We can cross vast distances in moments, appearing and disappearing at will. The Nexer Empire won't know what hit them. He paused, looking each council member in the eye. But we're not just returning with superior weapons and technology. We're returning as an evolved species. Our minds are sharper, our bodies stronger, our understanding deeper. We don't seek mere revenge. We seek justice and the restoration of our birthright. Captain Sunma stepped forward, adding her voice to his. All systems are at peak efficiency. The crew is fully trained and ready. We await only your command. The council chamber fell silent as the members considered their next words carefully. Finally, the head of the council spoke. Admiral Taiwan, you carry with you the hopes and dreams of all humanity. For 3,000 years, we have prepared for this moment. The vote is unanimous. Begin the operation. Taiwan bowed his head in acknowledgement as the holographic chamber faded away. Around him, the bridge crew straightened in their seats, their neural links humming with increased activity. Send the signal to the fleet, he ordered. All ships prepare for synchronized dark matter jump. We move at dawn. Through the viewing window, he could see other Transcendent-class warships moving into formation. Their hulls gleamed with a color that seemed to shift between dimensions, a visual effect of the advanced materials used in their construction. As final preparations began, Taiwan thought of the long journey that had led to this moment. From refugees fleeing a dying world to an advanced civilization capable of bending space and time, humanity had indeed evolved. The time had come to show the Nexer Empire exactly what they had created when they forced humanity to the stars. The Remembered Dawn's engines began to power up, filling the ship with a deep, resonant hum. The journey home was about to begin. The stealth vessel Shadow Whisper glided silently through the debris field that had once been Saturn's rings. Scout Commander Hyunki Ryu kept his hand steady on the controls as the ship's advanced cloaking systems bent light and energy around them, making them invisible to any watching eyes. Through the forward viewport, he could see Earth in the distance, a sight no human had witnessed in 3,000 years. His heart tightened in his chest. The once blue planet now gleamed with an unnatural crystalline sheen, its surface transformed by the Nexer Empire into a twisted monument to their victory. Maintaining stealth field at maximum efficiency, reported Jin Song, her fingers dancing across the sensor controls. No sign they've detected us. Their scanning technology is primitive compared to ours. The Shadow Whisper moved closer to Earth's orbit, its sensors gathering detailed information about the Nexer presence. Massive cities sprawled across the planet's scarred surface, their architecture alien and cold. Crystal spires rose into the atmosphere, connected by energy bridges that pulsed with pale light. Look at these readings, Jin A said, her voice filled with disbelief. Their power systems are still based on fusion technology. They haven't even discovered quantum enhancement. Hyunki guided the ship into a lower orbit, threading carefully between automated defense satellites. The Nexer devices were so outdated that the Shadow Whisper systems barely registered them as technology. Record everything, he ordered. Every weakness, every blind spot. Map their city layouts and defense positions. Their ship passed over what had once been the Pacific Ocean. The water had been transformed into a solid crystal plain, beneath which ancient sea life lay preserved like insects in amber. Hyun-Ki felt anger rising in his chest, but his training kept it in check. Jin-A continued analyzing the incoming data. "Sir, you need to see this. Their population numbers are massive, but their military presence is minimal. They have no active planetary defenses besides the automated systems. They've grown soft, comfortable in their perceived safety." The Shadow Whisper completed another orbit, its advanced sensors penetrating deep into the crystalline structures below. They could see the Nexer going about their daily lives, completely unaware they were being watched by the descendants of those they had driven from this world. "Their ships," Hyun-Ki noted, observing the vessels in orbit. "They're using the same basic designs from 3,000 years ago. Just slightly larger, slightly more powerful. They've stagnated." An alert flashed on Jin-A's console. Energy spike from the surface. Some kind of ceremony. They watched as beams of light shot up from the largest crystal spire, forming patterns in the sky. The Nexer were celebrating something, their arrogance on full display as they decorated Earth's atmosphere with their light shows. "They're celebrating the anniversary," Jin-A realized, checking the historical data. 3,000 years since they claimed Earth. They've turned it into a holiday. Hyun-Ki's hands tightened on the controls. "Record the celebration. The Council needs to see this. They need to understand what's been done to our home." The Shadow Whisper moved through the Earth's shadow, its sensors continuing to gather data. They mapped defense grids, power distribution networks, population centers, everything the coming fleet would need to know. Final scans complete. Jin-A announced after several hours. "We've mapped 98% of their infrastructure. Their entire civilization is built on the technologies they use to conquer Earth. They haven't innovated, haven't evolved. They think they're safe here." Hyun-Ki initiated the departure sequence, plotting a course that would take them safely out of the system. "They've spent 3,000 years building monuments to their victory, while we spent that time becoming stronger. They never imagined we would return." As the Shadow Whisper prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, they took one final look at Earth. Despite the Nexer's alterations, they could still see traces of the world humanity had known. The shapes of continents beneath the crystal, the remnants of mountain ranges, the ghostly outlines of ancient coastlines. "Prepare the report for transmission," Hyun-Ki ordered. "The fleet needs to know what we found. Earth may look different, but it's not lost. Not anymore." The stealth ship vanished into the darkness of space, carrying with it the intelligence that would help humanity reclaim their ancestral home. Behind them, Earth continued its eternal dance around the sun, its crystalline surface reflecting the light of the star that had given life to humanity so long ago. The Nexer Empire celebrated their ancient victory, unaware that the children of Earth had grown into something far beyond their understanding. Their complacency would be their downfall, and their celebration would soon turn to confusion, then fear, as humanity returned to reclaim what was rightfully theirs. The war room hummed with energy as officers and strategists gathered around the massive holographic display. Field Marshal Yumho-nam stood at the center, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of thousands of simulated ships. The room itself was a marvel of human engineering, built deep within New Seoul's military command center, its walls lined with quantum computers and tactical displays. "Ladies and gentlemen," Young-ho began, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber, "what you're about to see is 3,000 years in the making." With a gesture, he expanded the holographic map, showing Earth and its surrounding space in perfect detail. Intelligence Director Min Ji-yoon stepped forward, her uniform bearing the marks of countless successful operations. "The Scout Commander's data has revealed more than we hoped for. The Nexer Empire has grown lazy with power. Their forces are spread across hundreds of worlds, but their real strength is minimal." The hologram shifted, showing the positions of Nexer forces throughout their empire. Red dots marked their military installations, scattered too thinly across too much space. Young-ho manipulated the display, zooming in on Earth itself. Operation Memory, he announced, the name appearing in glowing letters above the tactical display. A three-phase assault that will bring us home. The room fell silent as Young-ho began laying out the plan. Holographic ships moved through simulated space, showing how humanity's fleet would approach from multiple vectors. Phase 1. We split our forces into 5 battle groups. Each group will strike at a different sector of Nexar space, drawing their defensive fleets away from Earth. Minji added her own data to the display. Their response time between sectors is slow. They rely on outdated communication systems. By the time they realize what's happening, it will be too late. Phase 2. Young-ho continued, showing new movements on the map. While their forces are scattered, our main fleet will emerge here. He pointed to a position just beyond Mars' orbit. The Remembered Dawn will lead the assault. Our advanced stealth systems will keep us hidden until the perfect moment. The assembled officers watched as the simulation played out. The holographic ships performed complex maneuvers that would have been impossible for their ancestors, using technology that had evolved far beyond anything the Nexar could comprehend. Their orbital defenses are based on technology from 3,000 years ago. Minji explained. Our ships can bypass them completely. They won't even see us coming until we're in position above their major cities. Young-ho moved to Phase 3, and the hologram showed Earth itself. This is where we show them who we've become, not just conquerors, but liberators. Our terraforming technology can reverse what they've done to Earth. We can restore our home while showing them the true power of human innovation. Questions came from the assembled officers, each addressed with careful precision. The plan had been crafted with 3 millennia of military advancement in mind. Every contingency had been considered, every possible response calculated. "What about civilian casualties?" asked one of the younger officers. Young-ho's expression remained firm but compassionate. "Our weapons can disable their technology without harm to living beings. We're not here for revenge. We're here to reclaim our heritage and show them that humanity has grown beyond their understanding." Minji brought up new data screens. Their society has become dependent on their crystalline technology. Once we disable their systems, they'll have no choice but to negotiate. They've never faced an enemy that could bypass their defenses so completely. The planning session continued for hours, each detail examined and refined. Young-ho watched his officers contribute their expertise, proud of how far humanity had come. These were not the descendants of refugees. They were the products of 3,000 years of evolution and advancement. "Remember," he said as the session drew to a close, "every person in this room carries the hopes of generations. Our ancestors fled to the stars carrying nothing but dreams of return. We carry the power to make those dreams reality." The holographic display showed one final simulation. Earth transformed back to its natural state, its oceans flowing freely, its surface green with life once more. It was more than a battle plan. It was the fulfillment of humanity's longest-held promise. As the officers began to file out, Young-ho and Minji remained, studying the tactical displays. "Do you think they'll understand?" Minji asked quietly. "When we return, will they comprehend what they created when they forced us to evolve?" Young-ho smiled slightly. "They're about to learn that pushing humanity to the edge of extinction was their greatest mistake. We didn't just survive. We transcended. Operation Memory isn't just about taking back Earth. It's about showing the galaxy what humanity has become." The holographic Earth rotated slowly above them, its crystalline surface soon to be transformed by the power of human determination and innovation. The time for planning was nearly complete. Soon, the greatest military operation in human history would begin, and the long exile would finally end. The darkness of space lit up like a newborn star as the human fleet emerged from quantum space. 10,000 ships appeared simultaneously, their advanced hulls gleaming with technology that seemed to bend reality itself. The Remembered Dawn led the formation, its massive form casting a shadow over the crystalline surface of Earth below. Admiral Ta-1 stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the home humanity had lost 3,000 years ago. The moment felt almost unreal, generations of preparation leading to this single point in time. He activated the fleet-wide communication system, his voice clear and strong. "This is humanity, returned from exile. We've come to reclaim our home." The message broadcast across all frequencies, translated into the Nexer language. On the planet below, lights began flashing as alarm systems activated. The Nexer defense fleet, caught completely unprepared, scrambled to respond to this impossible threat. Captain Sun Mi's hands moved across her control panel with practiced grace. Enemy ships rising from the surface. "Admiral, their weapons are powering up, but their technology, it's exactly as our scouts reported, primitive compared to ours." The Nexer vessels looked like toys compared to the human fleet. Their crystal-based technology, unchanged for millennia, glowed with pale light as they formed defensive positions. Their commanders must have been shocked to see ships larger than anything their empire had ever built. "All ships, maintain position," Todd 1 ordered. "Let them make the first move. Show them we're not the same humans they drove from this world." The Nexer fleet opened fire first, their energy weapons splashing harmlessly against the quantum shields of the human vessels. The shots that should have torn through hulls simply disappeared into ripples of distorted space. "Target their weapon systems only," Taiwan commanded. "Disable, don't destroy." Captain Sun Mi's targeting systems went to work. Precise beams of energy struck the Nexer ships, shutting down their weapons with surgical accuracy. Not a single ship was destroyed, but one by one, they fell silent, drifting helplessly in space. "Sir," Sun Mi reported, "we're receiving thousands of transmissions from the surface. They're panicking. They don't understand what's happening." Taiwan watched as more Nexer ships rose from Earth's surface, each one as ineffective as the last. "Send the second message. Let them see what we've become." Holographic displays appeared above every Nexer city, showing the history of human evolution. 3,000 years of advancement compressed into minutes, the development of quantum technology, the enhancement of human abilities, the creation of ships that could fold space itself. The Nexer fleet's formation began to break. Some ships retreated, while others simply powered down, their crews realizing the futility of resistance. This was not the primitive species they had driven from Earth. This was something entirely new. "Admiral," Sun Mi called out, "their central command is requesting communication." Taiwan nodded. "Put them through." The holographic image of a Nexer commander appeared on the bridge. Their crystalline features showed what might have been fear. "What are you?" the commander asked. "This is impossible. The humans we defeated couldn't." "We are the children of those humans," Taiwan interrupted. "We are what you created when you forced us to adapt. Look at your sensors. Look at our ships. We're not here for revenge. We're here to show you that humanity has grown beyond your understanding." The remembered dawn moved closer to Earth's surface, its massive shadow falling over the crystalline cities below. Other ships from the fleet took up positions around the planet, their advanced sensors already mapping out the process of restoration. "Your empire has stood still for 3,000 years, Taiwan continued. "While you built monuments to our defeat, we were evolving, advancing, becoming something more. Earth is our home, and we have returned not as conquerors, but as its rightful custodians." Across the planet, Nexer defense systems shut down as human technology systematically disabled them. There was no resistance, no great battle, just the quiet demonstration of power so advanced it seemed like magic to those who witnessed it. The Nexer commander's image flickered. "What do you want?" "We want to restore Earth to its natural state," Taiwan replied. "Your people can remain, but as guests, not conquerors. Look at our fleet. Look at our technology. You know you cannot stop us, but we choose to offer peace instead of destruction." The human fleet held position as the message was relayed to the Nexer leadership. Below them, Earth waited, its crystalline surface doomed to be transformed by the power of human innovation and determination. The long exile was over, and humanity had returned not just with the power to take back their home, but with the wisdom to do it right. The grand meeting chamber aboard the Stellar Victory gleamed with a soft blue light as Admiral Seon Park faced the Nexer Supreme Commander. The contrast between them was striking. Seon stood tall and confident, while the crystalline alien leader seemed diminished, faced with power beyond their comprehension. Seon held in her hand the same soil container that her great-grandfather, Commander Jai-Ho Park, had carried into exile 3,000 years ago. Its presence in this moment bridged generations of human perseverance and evolution. "You don't recognize us, do you?" Seon asked, her voice carrying across the chamber. "We are the children of Earth, the ones you try to erase. We didn't just survive. We thrived." The Nexer Supreme Commander studied her with multiple crystalline eyes. "Your ships, your technology. Impossible. The humans we defeated were primitive. They had barely reached their moon." Seon smiled gently. "You never understood what humanity truly was. When you forced us from Earth, you didn't destroy us. You freed us from our limitations. Every challenge we faced made us stronger. Every hardship taught us something new." Through the chamber's viewing windows, they could see the transformation already beginning. Human terraforming ships hovered over Earth's surface, their quantum fields gradually restoring sections of ocean and atmosphere. The process would take time, but Earth was already awakening from its crystalline sleep. "Look," Seon said, gesturing to the view. "We could have destroyed your empire. Our weapons could have turned your worlds to dust. Instead, we chose to show you what humanity has become." The Nexer leader watched as a section of crystalline surface transformed back into living Earth. "Your power, it defies our understanding. How did you achieve this in mere thousands of years?" Seon opened the soil container, letting the Nexer leader see the simple Earth within. "This soil came from my ancestors' home. It reminds us of who we were, but also shows us who we've become. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology. It was our ability to adapt, to learn, to grow beyond our limits." As they spoke, reports came in from across the planet. The restoration was proceeding faster than expected. Areas of crystal were being transformed back into living ecosystems, while selected Nexer monuments were preserved as reminders of the past. In what had once been Korea, Seon chose the location for humanity's first returning city. There, in a patch of newly restored Earth, she knelt and planted a seed using the soil from her great-grandfather's container. The simple act carried the weight of 3,000 years of history. "Your empire will not be destroyed," Seon told the Nexer leader. "But it will change. Earth returns to humanity, and with it comes a new era of understanding between our peoples." The seed she planted took root quickly, nourished by both ancient soil and newly restored Earth. Within days, thanks to advanced biological engineering, it grew into a strong young tree, a symbol of humanity's return and renewal. As weeks passed, the transformation of Earth continued. Oceans flowed once more, their waters clean and clear. Atmosphere was restored to its natural state, clouds forming in skies that had been crystal clear for millennia. Selected Nexer crystal structures remained as monuments, their surfaces reflecting the light of the sun they had tried to claim. The mystery of humanity's evolution became clear to both species. The Nexer's attempt to destroy humanity had instead triggered something dormant within human DNA, potential that had waited for the right moment to emerge. The challenges of survival among the stars had awakened abilities and understanding that would have taken millions of years to develop naturally. In the growing city around Seon's tree, humans and Nexer began to work together. The Nexer learned to see beauty in the chaos of natural life, while humans showed them how to use their crystal technology in harmony with living systems. Seon often visited the tree, watching it grow stronger each day. Its roots reached deep into soil that bridged 3,000 years of human history, while its branches stretched toward stars that had once seemed like places of exile, but had become the birthplace of humanity's transcendence. "We did it, great-grandfather," she whispered one evening, touching the tree's trunk. "We return not as refugees seeking revenge, but as teachers offering understanding. Earth is alive again, and humanity has found its true path among the stars." The tree's leaves rustled in the restored earth breeze, a sound that had not been heard on the planet for 3 millennia. Above, the stars shone down on a world reborn, where the children of Earth had returned not just to reclaim their home, but to show the galaxy what humanity had truly become.